A loud bang on my door jolted me awake on the 5th floor. It was the early hours of a Wednesday morning, around 4:30, when chaos erupted in the Al-Mangaf building in Mangaf, Kuwait. The building, leased by NBTC and home to 195 workers, mostly from India, was engulfed in flames. Thick, acrid smoke quickly filled the hallways, making it nearly impossible to see or breathe. Panic ensued as my neighbors and I scrambled in the dark, the air around us heavy and suffocating. The smoke was so dense, it was like moving through black fog. We could hear the distant sounds of sirens and the muffled cries of people trapped further down the hall. My heart was pounding, my thoughts scrambled as I realized the gravity of our situation. The hallways were no longer passable, choked with the deadly smoke. As the hallway filled with thick, black smoke, our only escape was the big window.
Some big buildings coming in from the Kuwait building fire. At least 3 people have been detained for suspected manslaughter over a building fire. 50 foreign workers were killed in the inferno. Among the deceased, mostly are Indians. 3 Filipinos were also among the dead.
At approximately 4:30 a.m., a fire broke out in the basement kitchen of Al-Mangaf. In the stillness of the early morning, while the majority of the 195 residents lay sleeping, unaware of the impending danger, the fire began its destructive journey. Originating in the kitchen located in the building's basement, it is believed that a cooking accident might have sparked the blaze. As the fire caught hold, it quickly spread upwards, engulfing the building in thick black smoke and fierce flames. The residents, most of them workers from Kerala, Tamil Nadu, and various northern states of India, were caught off guard. The design of the building, with limited escape routes and safety measures, exacerbated the situation. The smoke filled the hallways, cutting off escape paths, and filling the apartments with deadly fumes. As the clock ticked towards dawn, the situation inside Al-Mangaf turned dire. The thick smoke made breathing nearly impossible, leading to suffocation. Tragically, this resulted in 49 fatalities. Among the deceased, 21 hailed from Kerala alone, with others from Tamil Nadu, Uttar Pradesh, Pakistan, the Philippines, Egypt, and Nepal. The age range of those who lost their lives spanned from 20 to 50 years. Outside, first responders worked tirelessly against the clock. By 6 a.m., 5 fire engines had arrived at the scene. The firefighters, facing intense heat and visibility near zero, fought bravely to control the blaze. Their efforts were not without cost, as several firefighters sustained injuries during the rescue operations. These brave men and women risked their lives navigating through the perilous, smoke-choked corridors to rescue as many as possible. As the sun rose over Kuwait, the fire engines, now joined by additional emergency services, continued their relentless effort to extinguish the flames and rescue any remaining survivors. By 6 a.m., 5 fire engines had arrived, battling to bring the inferno under control. The aftermath of the fire was devastating. 49 lives lost, over 50 injured. The tragedy touched an array of nations, weaving a tapestry of sorrow that spanned continents. Among the victims, a significant number hailed from India, with 21 from Kerala alone. Others from Tamil Nadu and Uttar Pradesh. The rest of the deceased comprised nationals from Pakistan, the Philippines, Egypt, and Nepal, each community grappling with its own heartbreak. The response to the disaster was swift and widespread. Kuwaiti fire engines had arrived by 6 o'clock, battling the blaze that had erupted in the early hours. The scene was one of urgency and peril, with some firefighters sustaining injuries during the rescue efforts. Amidst the smoke and chaos, Kuwaiti Interior Minister Sheikh Fahad Yusuf Al-Sabah made his way to the site, confirming the harrowing death toll and witnessing firsthand the scale of the emergency. Hospitals across the region were put on high alert as victims were rushed for medical attention. 21 were taken to Al-Adan, 6 to Farwania, 1 to Al-Amiri, and 11 to Mubarak hospitals. Each medical facility became a hub of activity, with doctors and nurses working tirelessly to stabilize the injured. As the day unfolded, the impact of the disaster echoed through the halls of hospitals and the corridors of power alike. Among the chaos, the stories of individuals from Kerala to Nepal unfolded, a grim tally of loss and survival. As the news of the tragedy spread, international responses were swift. The Indian ambassador to Kuwait, Adarsh Sweka, made immediate visits to the hospitals where the injured were being treated. His presence was a beacon of support, offering words of encouragement to those recovering. Simultaneously, Minister of State for External Affairs, Kirtivardhan Singh, was dispatched to Kuwait on the direct orders of Prime Minister Modi. His mission was clear: to coordinate with local authorities and expedite the process of repatriation for the Indian nationals who had perished in the fire. The diplomatic channels between India and Kuwait buzzed with activity as discussions focused on the logistics of returning the bodies to their homeland swiftly and respectfully. The Kuwaiti government, represented by its Interior Minister Sheikh Fahad Yusuf al-Sabah, also stepped into the spotlight. Visiting the scene, he confirmed the death toll and announced a decisive crackdown on those responsible for the incident. Authorities were ordered to arrest the building's owner, pointing to negligence and greed as underlying causes of the catastrophe. The dialogue between Indian External Affairs Minister Jaishankar and the Kuwaiti government underscored the urgency of the situation. Jaishankar's appeal to facilitate the return of the deceased was met with assurances from the Kuwaiti side, reflecting a shared commitment to address the aftermath of the disaster with dignity and respect for the bereaved families. In parallel, media reports and statements from human rights organizations began to paint a broader picture of the conditions faced by migrant workers in Kuwait. These revelations added layers to the ongoing narrative, promising that the investigation would not only seek to pinpoint the cause of the fire, but also explore systemic issues affecting migrant workers' safety and living conditions. The promise of justice loomed amidst the grief as investigations into the cause and accountability began. Behind the statistics are human stories, families shattered across continents. In the dim light of dawn, as smoke blackened the sky above Al-Mangaf, the world shrunk to the desperate cries and frantic escape attempts of nearly 200 workers trapped by flames. Among them was Vishnu, a young engineer from Kerala, whose dreams of supporting his aging parents vanished in the thick, choking haze. His family, miles away, received the devastating call just hours later, their hopes extinguished as swiftly as Vishnu's life. Far from the fiery chaos in a small town in Tamil Nadu, Anjali's hands trembled as she packed her husband's favorite spices, hoping they'd remind him of home. Now those spices sit untouched, a poignant reminder of plans and promises unfulfilled. Her husband, Kumar, perished trying to help others escape, his heroism a small comfort to those he left behind. The community response has been a powerful testament to human solidarity. Vigils lit by trembling hands, community prayers echoing through tear-streaked gatherings, and fundraisers swelling with contributions. These acts of kindness weave a tapestry of support, though the pain lingers. Yet this tragedy casts a stark light on broader issues. Migrant workers cramped in unsafe conditions, their lives hanging in a precarious balance. Human rights organizations have long voiced concerns over the living standards in such facilities where the pursuit of profit often eclipses the value of human life. Each number in the death toll carries a story, a family, a world shattered. As the dust settles, the long road to recovery and justice begins. In the aftermath of the devastating fire in Al-Mangaf building, the focus has shifted towards understanding the cascade of events that led to such a calamity, and ensuring it never happens again. Kuwaiti authorities have been swift in their response. An ongoing investigation aims to peel back the layers of negligence that allowed for such a tragedy to occur. Arrests have been made, including the building owner, under the suspicion of flouting safety norms and overcrowding, which are believed to have exacerbated the disaster. The care for the injured has been paramount. Hospitals like Al-Adan and Mubarak have become centers of relentless medical activity, where doctors and nurses work around the clock to ensure the recovery of over 50 individuals affected by smoke inhalation and burns. The Indian ambassador to Kuwait has been a constant presence, offering support and ensuring that the needs of the injured are met swiftly and efficiently. Community efforts have been heartening, with local groups and international organizations coming together to support the families of the victims. Fundraisers, vigils, and support networks have sprung up, weaving a tapestry of solidarity and compassion. This collective response not only provides immediate relief, but also strengthens the community's resolve to prevent future tragedies. On a broader scale, this incident has sparked a vital dialogue about the safety regulations and rights of migrant workers in Kuwait. With 2/3 of the population comprising migrant workers, their welfare is indispensable to the nation's fabric. There is a burgeoning call for stricter enforcement of housing and safety codes, and for a re-evaluation of the living conditions that many migrant workers endure. In the wake of the tragedy, a community binds together, seeking healing and reform in the face of profound loss. The road ahead is fraught with challenges, but with continued vigilance and a commitment to change, hope remains that such a disaster will never be repeated. Go through your opinion on Kuwait's tragedy in the comments below.